Restart. Thank you. And sorry, you're up.
Okay. All right. Thanks again. I was just saying thank you to the Chamber for putting this on for us. And my name is Vanessa Springett, and I am running for City Council to bring positive change and new ideas and greater accountability and transparency to Poway City government. As a lifetime Poway resident, my priority is representing residents and not developers or outside interests. I want to focus on collaborative, common sense solutions for our city. I grew up in Green Valley, and my husband and I raised our family in Vineland Hills. I've served as chair on Poway's Budget Review Committee, as president of the Vineland Hills Homeowners Association, and a secretary of the Green Valley Civic Association. I volunteered with local schools and through the youth sports programs when my kids were young. And I'm currently a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm always working to strengthen the community that I very much love. With my economics degree from UCLA, I am committed to responsible budgeting and long-term financial stability for our city. And I will advocate for development that respects community-approved plans for the farm. And I will fight for increased setbacks and limited building heights along Poway Road. And I support resident involvement in planning decisions via citizen-based planning committee or resident workshops. And I support term limits and strong public safety and protecting our parks and our trails and our open spaces. And really, it would be an honor to represent the residents of D2 and all over Poway. And I would very much appreciate your support. And thank you again for the opportunity to speak tonight. Thank you.
All right, Anita, you are up. 2-minute opening statement, please. And we will ask you to unmute. There you go. All right.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening, everyone. My name is Anita Edmonson, and there are nearly 12,000 reasons why I'm running for this city council seat, because that's how many residents in District 2 have been without a true voice on council for a year and a half. I will bring back what our residents need and deserve: proven experience, principled leadership, and sound decision-making. Now, those of us who love Poway, we know it's a special place, and it's not just where we live, it's how we live. Safest city in the county, a balanced budget, lowest taxes in the county, well-maintained roads and reliable water, amazing parks and programs. And as your council member, I will protect everything that makes Poway so special. Now, many of you are watching tonight because you want to know this vacancy will be filled by a known quantity. As a proven and positive leader, my record speaks for itself. 12 years as vice president of the GVCA, 8 years on the Poway Chamber Board, including board chair, board member with the PUSD Foundation, and appointed to Poway City Council in 23-24. I understand the job, the issues, and the responsibility. And I've stepped up when it matters most. I was the only council member to vote against the Lifetime Fitness proposal, and I helped lead the successful recall that restored integrity and accountability to this very seat. A pivotal development decision in District 2 awaits City Council sometime this year, a rec club at the farm. And I'm the only candidate without a conflict of interest. Unlike my opponent, I can fully participate in every discussion and every vote on noise, lighting, traffic, and operating hours. District 2 residents deserve a council member who was ready on day one, free of conflict, and full of experience. And I'm here today as that candidate.
Thank you, Anita. And we will be coming back to that topic in a future question. We are going to start as we did with the statements, again, as listed by the registrar of voters, and then we will alternate who will respond first as we go through the questions. Closing statements, Anita will have the first closing statement. Vanessa will have the final closing statement in reverse order of the opening statements. Now we will go to question 1, first answered by Vanessa. And the first question is, and then Vanessa, I'll give you just a second. I will bring you up and unmute you. First question is, what is your plan to attract, support, and retain businesses in Poway. And you are set to go, Vanessa.
Okay. Supporting small business in Poway is very important. And I think first we need to start with advocating for smart development. We need to ensure that there's adequate parking in new commercial projects. And clearly there is not enough parking in current proposed projects. We need to protect accessibility for the customers and the employees. And second, I absolutely support keeping Poway as business friendly as it is. I support the low sales taxes that we currently have and continue to promote policies that reduce unnecessary regulatory burdens on business people. I think it's important that we consider driving more foot traffic into local businesses. I think that's important. So I will continue my support for the Midland Road music overlay that brings live music to Midland Roads, to Hop Stop and Uvas Winery and Smoking Jay's, a great way to continue to encourage people to visit those businesses. Would be great to see that eventually in Central Poway as well. And I think we should encourage events and activities that bring people into business districts like car shows and street fairs, such as what the Chamber does as well. I think it's really important that we reinstate a Buy in Poway campaign where we should be using social media and city platforms to highlight local businesses. We should be promoting the value of shopping local to keep dollars in our community. And I'd like to continue working closely with the Chamber. It's a great collaboration, and leverage my involvement with the Chamber and Government Affairs Committee to support programs and resources to help businesses grow. We learn a tremendous amount every other month in those meetings, and that should be shared more widely with the city. So of course, I'd like to continue sharing that collaborative relationship with the city and the Chamber. And most importantly, I'd like to be a consistent advocate for business owners. I want to listen to their concerns and remove barriers wherever possible. Can I say one more thing?
No, time.
Okay. We're wrapped up now.
Yeah.
You ready for me?
I am ready for you. Same question. What is your plan to attract, support, and retain businesses in Poway?
Sure. I think the best thing that we can do for businesses in Poway is to continue funding the foundational city services that attract residents, which in turn attracts businesses to the community. Public safety, sound infrastructure, financial stability, keeping the lowest sales tax in the county, community parks and programs, accessible leadership, and ongoing improvements on Poway Road, our main, business corridor. And it's why the city has welcomed some very high-profile businesses to the community, much appreciated by residents, including myself, like Trader Joe's, Boot Barn, Raising Cane's, Better Buzz, Tractor Supply, just to name a few. And I fully support continuing to fund these foundational city services that are so important for the quality of life for residents and businesses. For people who might avoid Poway because of traffic concerns, we should ensure that the installation of the new adaptive traffic signaling system that the city has invested over $1 million in is in progress and will keep traffic moving. So I know it's kind of a new thing that was part of capital improvement for this budget year. And so I'm hoping that that gets in place and we start seeing improvements there. I would also like to see the city maintain a positive relationship with the Poway Chamber. I look forward to attending events and mixers and street fairs and things. And I suggest it's time to revive the city's business subcommittee so that council members and city leaders can engage regularly with the business park and brick and mortar businesses. And this will allow us to have our finger on the pulse of doing business in Poway and show we are accessible to local business leaders.
Thank you, Anita. Right on time. And we will let you stay up here for the next question, which is, please address the topic shared on social media, campaign mailer, and website, the issue of one candidate not being able to participate in council discussions and voting on any projects proposed at the new farm development. Your 2 minutes starts now, Anita. And someone went back to mute, so we will. There you go.
Got it.
2 minutes starts now.
Thank you. So this is one of those transparency issues that is so critical to building trust with residents. And I appreciate the chamber raising the question. So known as the 500-foot rule, this is a state law that says a public official is presumed to have a disqualifying financial interest in a governmental decision if the decision involves a property located 500 feet or less from the official's property. So the law protects residents from questionable decisions, and it protects elected officials and local agencies from any liability. And to put into context with the farm consists of 3 parcels: the residential area, the commercial space along Espola Road, and the rec club parcel in the middle of the development, which is where the Lifetime Fitness was proposed. So when I turned in my candidate packet in February, I received a map of my primary residence, which is in Summerfield, and with a 500-foot radius drawn around my property. And it was immediately apparent that I am well outside any conflict of interest with the farm rec club parcel. So I assume a similar map was given to my opponent, whose primary residence is in Vineland Hills and falls within the 500-foot conflict of interest zone from that rec club parcel. And so this matters a lot because the single most important issue in D2 to come before council, probably sometime this year, will be a rec club proposal at the farm. And I'm the only candidate who resides outside the 500-foot conflict of interest. So there is no question that I will be able to fully participate in all rec club decisions and discussions, including noise, operating hours, lighting, and traffic. The law on this is clear. You can read the city attorney's memo and the state law on my website at anitapoway.com. But the bottom line is District 2 residents deserve a full voice to speak on their behalf, and I'm the only one who can.
Can you hear me?
Vanessa, you are up. Same question. I'll reread it for you real quick. Please address the topic shared on social media, campaign mailer, and website, the issue of one candidate not being able to participate in council discussions and voting on any projects proposed at the new farm development. Vanessa, your 2 minutes starts now.
Okay, so first of all, Anita's marketing has included some misleading information regarding my ability to represent matters related to the farm. And here are the facts. It is true. I live within 500 feet of the fitness club parcel only. And if a conflict is officially determined, I will fully comply and recuse myself from any vote related to land use or zoning changes for that particular parcel. However, we are talking about the fitness club parcel only. All other commercial parcels in the farm are not an issue. And because this became a new issue, a recent matter that wasn't brought up to me when I ran 2 years ago, I have talked to FPPC personnel and I have talked to legal representatives. And I have the result that no final conflict determination exists yet because it will depend on the proposed modifications, which are still unknown, and how and if these modifications affect the general population of our district. And the city attorney's report on the matter referenced a 25% general exclusion or a general exception. And in truth, if 15% of the households in our district are affected by this in a similar fashion, then this conflict no longer exists. So that hasn't been determined. But I do want to point out that my position has always been to ensure that new development follows the specific plan for which voters approved in 2020. I would be very unlikely to vote in favor of developers proposing changes in facility size or usage anyway. But that determination on whether the conflict is real has yet to be determined. Regardless, suggesting that I do not have a voice is false and misleading. I can continue to speak. I can continue to raise concerns. I can continue to represent our community interests publicly, just as I did on the No on Age Lifetime issue. And I will remain actively engaged, protecting our quality of life for the surrounding neighborhoods. My priority is and always will be representing residents and protecting their quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And you will stay up for the next question, Vanessa. And so you are first up for question 3, which is how can the city of Poway better partner with the Poway Chamber of Commerce to strengthen the Poway business community? You have 2 minutes starting now, Vanessa.
Oh, this is a new one for me, just so you know. So on the fly, I think it's really important.
Vanessa, sorry, I'll pause there real quick. So since you brought that up, the first 2 questions were given to the candidates in advance. Neither candidate has received any of these subsequent questions that we will be giving. Again, these questions that we have down right now are strictly from a mix of questions from you who have registered and are attending this webinar, and from the Poway Chamber of Commerce leadership, including the Government Affairs Committee. We
Okay.
do encourage those of you attending live to submit questions in the chat, and time permitting, we will be looking to take a question or two, possibly more, time permitting, from the chat. So please submit those if you like, and of course, we will be possibly accepting pertinent and good questions. So
Okay.
now you're up. We'll restart your 2 minutes now, Vanessa, with that question. Do you want me to reread the question?
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay,
And
your
actually,
two minutes now.
okay,
Yeah.
I think I mentioned earlier when we were talking about businesses in Poway, it's really important connection to strengthen the city chamber collaboration. And my involvement with the Chamber of Commerce and as in the government affairs meetings, as I was mentioning, we learned so much that should be shared with Poway residents, and we should do a better job supporting those programs and those resources that can help small businesses grow. So I 100% the strong collaboration and relationship between the city and the chamber. We also learned about outside organizations that I learned about through the chamber that can help these businesses. Again, we need to do a better job promoting those with the business development services that may not be located in Poway but are available to Poway businesses. There's so much good stuff, and working together is key, and supporting each other is key. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. It's an important relationship.
Ready? You ready for me, Mike? Can't hear you.
Sorry, I was on mute. I apologize. Anita,
It's
you
okay.
are up. Same question. How can the city of Poway better partner with the Poway Chamber of Commerce to strengthen the Poway business community? Your 2 minutes starts now.
Okay. I think that the chamber and the city have had a positive relationship for as long as I've been involved in the chamber, when I was on the board for 8 years, and also as the chair during the COVID period, Mike, and you were there with me, and we know that what that was like, and the city was very supportive. We worked well together. So I think the city gives money, a grant to the chamber, which I think is helpful, and is a sign of a partnership commitment. And I know that we've had in the past, the assistant city manager has been on the board, and I know that's a valuable person to have a seat at the table for the chamber and the connection to the city, and vice versa. And so when we fill that seat, that position, I would like to see that come back, because I think that's an important way to connect the dots between the two organizations. The chamber and the city have partnered together on a number of events. The annual fall festival and the new spring festival you have coming up. I know they work closely with the city to work with the permitting and make sure the street is ready and you're complying and everything. So I think that's a great relationship, and I would just like to see those open lines of communications continue. I talked about the business subcommittee. We can see how the chamber representative can be part of that as well. Government affairs, also a very important connection with the chamber and the city. And I know that the chamber has events at the community center, which is a beautiful center, and we work partner very nicely together between the city and the chamber. So I'd just like to see more of the good stuff.
That's great. Thank you. And I'm going to leave you up, Anita. We're going to have a 1 minute follow-up question. Just a quick heads up for each of you. So you'll stay up for the 1 minute follow-up question. A couple things were mentioned. So for those who aren't familiar with the chamber, perhaps the Poway Chamber of Commerce is poway.com. The city is poway.org. You can look at some of these specialty groups and all the things the chamber has going on at poway.com. In relation to the seat, as you mentioned, Anita, the city of Poway has had an ex officio position on the Poway Chamber Board for as long as I know. And yes, the city manager did assure me that the new city manager, once acclimated, will be taking that seat. So we're happy about that as well. So my follow-up question first for you, Anita, is what What can you, if elected as the District 2 candidate, personally do to create said positive change between the city and the chamber? You have 1 minute starting now, Anita. Oh, and you guys to unmute. I don't know why you went back on mute, but
Okay, I'm on.
you're on good. All right.
Okay, so because I came from the chamber world, I was very ingrained with the chamber and attending the mixers, and I know a lot of the people, and I go to the spring festival and the fall festival, and I MC the community stage with all the groups that come forward, the dance groups and the martial arts groups. So I am very ingrained with the chamber, and as a Poway City Council member, I would just continue that as well. And I love to do that kind of stuff. I love to be out in the community. I love to interact with the businesses. I am in the business world with marketing communications, so I understand business pain points and what their goals are. So I would just be all in, as I always am, with chamber events, ribbon cuttings, mixers, you name it.
Perfect. Thank you. And Vanessa, you are going to be up now, and you have the 1 minute same follow-up question. If you are elected, what will you do personally to further that positive change between the city and the chamber? And then you will stay up for question number 4. You're up, Vanessa.
Okay.
1 minute
All right.
starts now.
Well, with Anita, I would agree that there already is an excellent relationship. And I think continuing that excellent relationship is important. When I'm elected, I will take a bigger stance in, again, like I said, sharing the knowledge and sharing the tools that can help businesses with sharing. And that's part of my platform too. I think Poway needs to do a better job sharing information with the public and sharing information with residents about resources that are available. And I absolutely would just continue. I mean, you do a tremendous amount of great things. I also have participated in the fall festivals. I've been there. I've been had booths there, and I'm always there in signs of support. And yeah, I think it's a wonderful thing, and I will continue to do that. But I think more concrete tools and organizations and classes that can be shared to
Thank
really.
you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Vanessa. And you will stay up here for question number 4, which is, what are 3 key improvements Poway can make to strengthen the quality of life for residents of the city of Poway? Vanessa, you have 2 minutes starting now.
Yeah. First, I think that we need to strengthen design standards for the city of Poway. I think there's a little bit too much control with the Director of Development Services, where there are subjective design standards where she can make decisions that may not always be being done in the benefit or for the benefit of residents. So the number one thing I'd like to do is to increase setbacks along Poway Road to protect the integrity and the character of Poway Road. I'd like to make stricter design standards that need to be followed. I'd like to make a change to those setbacks now so that we don't turn into Mira Mesa down the road. Another thing is I think we need to increase the time in which the time limits when things come to an agenda. Well, first of all, I'd like to say I think agendas should be shared with the public a little bit easier on social media, like the city of Escondido does. Every time there's a meeting, they're very clear and concise about what is going to be spoken about. And if you're interested, please look here for more details, and please join us if any of these things issue. So transparency with agendas, inviting the public in, changing setbacks, and then yeah, just getting the residents more involved with a planning committee and or workshops with the residents so they're informed about developments that are going to come and affect their life. And I think their input and their questions should be considered by staff, and we should give a little bit more respect to residents when it comes to development planning. So that's it.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much. And Anita, you will be up now.
Got her off mute.
And I have her off mute, and now I will spotlight her.
Can you repeat the question?
I absolutely will repeat the question for you. What are 3 key improvements Poway can make to strengthen the quality of life for residents of the city of Poway? Anita, you have 2 minutes starting now.
Well, it's a couple things that I've learned walking lots of homes, lots of neighborhoods over the last month. Traffic safety is actually a really important concern for people in District 2. We're talking the Valley Verde area and Espola Road. In fact, I got an email from someone that's very concerned about traffic and would like to meet with me to see what can be done about that. So those issues are real, they're not imagined, and there's something that we can do something about. And so I would like to address kind of in a global way areas where there are concentrated concerns about traffic safety, and we're talking speed mostly. Those are wide roads over there, and it's easy to speed. I think the permitting process, I don't know if it's a quality of life thing, but that's something else I'm hearing from people is the permitting process to do work around their home, or even for the GVCA is trying to do a monument sign. They're running into all kinds of red tape. And so I think we can double click on how we can improve the user experience with the permitting process and with development services to see if we can improve that so we don't have the reputation for being not such a great place to do business for homeowners and people that are doing projects, home improvement projects. And I think we just need to keep supporting the good stuff that's in this community. That's the other thing I'm hearing from people is they love Poway. They love all the good things that are here, the good roads, the safety, the programs and services. We want to make sure we protect those things and we're not diverting our time, attention, and resources away from making sure that we provide those things that people love about Poway.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Anita. And you will stay up for question number 5. You will have 2 minutes. If you were able to change anything about the Poway Road specific plan, what would that be? Anita, you have 2 minutes starting now. I don't know why you go back on. Sorry about that.
Okay,
Right.
I'm on.
You're good.
I love this question because there is something we can do about Poway Road. So in the specific plan, if you haven't read it, people that are out there watching this and listening to this, take a look at the Poway Road specific plan. It's actually an easy document to look at. There are a lot of things identified in Section 5, all these great things that the city can do to bring that magic to Poway Road. Things like public art and painting the utility boxes, new banners and holiday lights, new wayfinding signage, lighting, all kinds of things that we could update. And the things that we love about Old Poway Park and that part of Midland Road, we can bring those things to Poway Road. We just need to prioritize them and set aside the money for them. And so I think once we do that, we're going to start to see this Poway Road specific plan, this corridor come to life. The development is happening. It's happening. And so what I'm hearing from people is where's the magic? Where's the good stuff? And those are the things that we have control over. We don't need a developer to do them. So those are the things that we could do. And that traffic system that's going to help traffic keep flowing smoothly. That's something else we can make sure is happening on Poway Road.
Thank you, Anita. Vanessa will bring you up and I'll reread the question and you will have 2 minutes to answer. And we are going to spotlight you. Are you unmuted? You are good to go.
I just disappeared. 1 second. I'm gone.
You're here for
I'm
us.
there?
You're here for us. And the
Well, I
question
can't
again, if you were able to change anything about the Poway Road specific plan, what would that be? You have 2 minutes starting now, Vanessa.
Yeah. Well, I agree with Anita that if you actually read the plan, it is a good one. What I have a problem with is what is being approved does not resemble what is highlighted in the plan. So I would like, again, just as in the farm, developers to be required to build with the vision that those people put together in that specific plan that include gathering spaces and artwork and pocket parks and sculptures. What we're seeing instead is increased density right on top of Poway Road. And an amendment is needed now to increase setbacks to 25 feet back so that we can have greenery again once in between Poway Road and new buildings. I support mixed use, commercial use. I support the idea in the specific plan, but what is being approved It does not align with that vision. The people who have purchased in that area are upset that they are not getting what was promised to them. Sounds familiar. And we need someone to say enough is enough. We need to deliver what was promised to residents and focus on what will make this more beautiful. I mean, the building heights are out of time, out of scope. The design is out of scope of Poway, and we need stricter guidelines to bring that back. And I would agree that traffic really needs to be dealt with as well. But more importantly, we need to deliver in the vision that that specific plan allows, which would be incredible. And it doesn't have enough parking to support any commercial uses in there, which would be so great. But when you only have 20 spaces for resident parking and employees and potential clients to these restaurants, it just doesn't make sense. So we need to bring common sense back to the Poway Road specific plan, and amendments are needed to do so.
Perfect. Thank you, Vanessa. Right on time. And we will keep you up here for the next question. Before we do that, quick housekeeping note. We're still waiting for a selectable question from the chat. We've had a couple. We had some nonsense, which I deleted and also removed that person who somehow got in here. I don't think had registered. Anyway, we're right on time. We do have questions. The question that was asked is not being selected because the Poway Chamber of Commerce is nonpartisan. You know, this is as far as we get into politics, is having these candidate forums for relevant local elections. I imagine in the client and the candidates' closing statements, they may reference how you can contact them if you have future questions that you would like to ask them about their party affiliation or anything like that. So we will move forward with our scripted questions. I will continue to monitor the chat in case someone asks a question better than the ones we have left. We have questions 6, 7, and 8, starting right now with Vanessa for question 6. What is your vision for Poway over your term as council member? You have 2 minutes starting now, Vanessa.
My vision is as council member is to continue the good. I'm not the candidate who wants to tear down City Hall. I have great respect for city staff. I have great respect for our community development, our parks, and our the events that we hold for our community. I mean, great respect, and I fully love living in Poway and agree that Poway does a lot of things well. But Poway does need to push back when it comes to development. And that is going to be my key focus. And my key focus is going to be on representing residents' quality of life. And yes, that includes traffic. And yes, that includes infrastructure. And yes, that includes water. And yes, that includes protecting our residents against crime, because we have done a very good job on that. So continue on doing those basics very well. I am not here to attack any of those things that the Poway is doing well. What I am here is to push back on developers who may be taking advantage of our beautiful city. And I want a council that will push back when we can and say, welcome, build, come, build, but do it well. Do it with respect for our community, and let's set some guidelines that they must follow so that we can protect the integrity and character of our city. That's my number one goal. If that is the reason I'm getting involved in this, and that's what I want to protect, because I am going to be here for the long run, as I have lived here my whole life. So that's my number one goal, is to protect the residents and protect the character of our city and embrace the things that are being done well. Thank you.
Perfect. Right on time. Thank you, Vanessa. All right. I'll get you up here. Anita, reread the question and then announce your 2 minutes. Anita is unmuted and good to go. Anita, your question is the same. What is your vision for Poway over your term as council member? Anita, you have 2 minutes starting now.
Yes, thank you. So this is where Vanessa and I agree. But I think where the difference is how we get there. And so because I have experience on the council and I understand the issues, the path to get there is different. And I think right after this forum, the city council is going to hear a report from the city attorney about the density bonus laws. And these are state laws that basically give builders a workaround for local control over all the things that she's talking about: heights, setbacks, parking, all of that. It throws all of that out the window. We have no local control. So when we say we want to push back on developers, I've been in meetings, pre-development meetings, where we say, hey, guys, we get what you're doing, but what about X? What about Y? What about Z? And they'll come back with something. They don't have to listen to us. They can present their plan. And then if it gets rejected, they could say, you know what? We're going to pull the bonus density bonus laws, and we're going to add 20% more housing because we've added a few affordable housing units. So these laws are very real, and we have to understand what we're talking about. So it's kind of a game of chicken with developers. And so while we would love to be able to say, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, and they have to listen to us, there are things that come down from Sacramento that we don't have that upper hand anymore. So my vision is to make sure we don't get ourselves into trouble on Poway Road and become Mira Mesa, right? Because if these rules go out the window, we could have 10-story buildings. All right. We have to be careful about that. So I think there's a way to work with developers to see what we can, so it's mutually beneficial to both of us. And I would like to restore civility to city discussions. There's a lot of things online that I think are divisive. I don't think they're productive, and they don't show a shared love of the community.
Thank you. This next question, Anita, will keep you up here. You did not go back on mute. Excellent. So the next question, and we did get something from the chat that I will add, kind of merge with this next question, which is question 7. What do you see as the biggest issue for Poway residents at this time? And then we can tie that in also with what does each candidate believe is priority 1 for a city? I'm not sure if you meant City of Poway or a city in general, but question from the chat. What does each candidate believe is priority 1 for a city? And our question, what do you see as the biggest issue for Poway residents at this time? So do what you want with those questions. You have 2 minutes starting now, Anita.
So the biggest issue in District 2, as I have said several times now, is a potential rec facility at the farm. And to be clear, my materials always referenced a rec facility. I never talked about the commercial space. I never talked about the housing space. I never talked about a butterfly farm. It was always related to a rec facility. So I want to make that very clear. And I also make clear that what is allowed in that space is a swim and tennis and pickleball club. And that's where the conflict lies. So when you talk about you can weigh in, that's going to be the sticking point. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. So that's going to be the big issue in District 2. I think in the city, it's going to be managing these state laws when it comes to building and housing, and the housing mandates come down from the state, and we have to work with them, and we have to provide what they have because they have a big stick over us. And so I think that's going to be the big thing. The next housing element is going to be coming up in a couple years. And I think development is going to be an issue. The cost of development, what developers are willing to do and not willing to do. And those are going to be the challenges for the city. And I think if the city can stay focused on being financially, fiscally sound, we're going to be in better shape than every city in the county.
All right. Thank you, Anita. And Vanessa, we'll get you up here. I will reread the questions. This one is a little tricky. So for your benefit here, we will reread the question. What do you see as the biggest issue for Poway residents at this time? And then the question was asked, what do you believe is priority 1 for a city? Or you can interpret that as City of Poway. Your 2 minutes starts now, Vanessa.
Okay. Well, I'd agree with Anita that D2, the farm, is our biggest priority. And if and when a pickleball facility is proposed to the city of Poway, it will be very, very important that the city requires updated noise studies that are site specific and take into consideration the topography of the farm. It sits in a bowl, sound goes up, and that will very negatively affect all residents in a very large area. So for me, that is a huge concern. Anita, I did ask you to change your website when this came to my attention, and you did, thankfully, change your information to reference the rec facility. So I appreciate that. But originally, you did not specifically say the rec facility, and many people thought that this potential conflict would affect the entire farm. So that was originally misleading, and thank you for correcting your marketing material. Um, I do also agree that fire is a huge concern for Poway. We're very lucky to have a great fire department. I do believe that traffic is very important and there's a lot of improvement to be done. I've been going to traffic safety committee meetings for the last several years, promoting not only traffic improvements on St. Andrews and Valverde, but throughout the city of Poway. So I understand that those are very important. And then, of course, for me, pushing back where we can, setting new rules now so that when new developers come in with plans, they have to abide by the rules that are in plan. You cannot change the zoning or the setbacks after they've made an application, but we can certainly set the rules before the next applications are made. And that needs to be addressed ASAP. And I understand there are pressures. I'm not naive. I understand there are pressures from the state, but we can make changes now that can positively affect the next development down the road in Poway Road. So thank you very
Perfect.
much.
Right on time. You're welcome. And you can stay up here for the final question. We are right on schedule. So thank you. I will take that last question from the chat at the end, right before closing statement. So staying on time, Vanessa, we have question number 8 for you first. The question is, what specific measures would you pursue in order to make Poway government more open and transparent? Vanessa, you have 2 minutes starting now.
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, one of the largest problems I think is, in a good way, a lot of us are very happy at home, right? Most of us we're very fortunate to live in Poway until something affects us personally. A lot of people don't necessarily pay attention to what's happening to City Hall as long as the roads are good, as long as our Poway Lake is open for business. So people don't necessarily get involved until something affects them. So first of all, I would like to use social media to broadcast every 2 weeks exactly what agenda items will be discussed at council. So if you're interested in any of those items, you can then show up to council. If you're interested in details, you can then get more detailed reports, which are available on Poway's website. 2, I would like to increase the notification time from the time something does come to agenda, someone shows up to talk about how this issue may or may not affect them, and council shows up all ready to make a decision on the agenda item, and it appears that they are not taking resident input into heart at all. And I would suggest the agenda item comes, people speak, and you delay making a decision, whether it's 2 weeks or 30 days, at least those questions can be addressed, considered, and it may very well be that you come back and make those same decisions, but you've heard the residents and you've taken time to consider their points of view. You've taken time to look at objective points of view and do your own research and then make an educated decision and vote accordingly. So again, I would increase the time and I would definitely promote agenda items on social media a little bit more clear and invite the people in, because I think participation will just encourage more community. And I also agree that we can do it with kindness. We can do this with respect. We can disagree on policies, but we should always, come together and discuss these things in a civil manner and at least respect the people. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have Anita to take question number 8, and there you go. Anita, you are up. You are unmuted. The last, next to last question, what specific measures would you pursue in order to make Poway government more open and transparent? You have 2 minutes starting now, Anita.
Yeah, I think we should encourage residents to sign up for council meeting notifications. You can go on the website and click, and you will get a notification for when those council meeting agendas are posted. They are posted 7 days prior to the council meeting. The law requires 72 hours. 7 days is longer than most communities around. So that's a long time. And I've been on council, and I'll tell you, when we get comments from people, the day of the council meeting, if you gave them 30 days, they would give you the comments the day of the meeting. So I don't know that 30 days, and with AI, you can Google a lot, you can AI a lot of stuff and get the information you need to assess a project. And I will tell you, council members do not come to the council meeting already knowing how to vote. Everyone looks at the emails, the messages, they hear from people, they meet with people. We don't get the reports until the same time it is posted for the public as well. Okay. So of course we're having meetings all along. Hey, this is coming down the pike. And so we have a little bit more information, a little more context, but we're getting the information the same time as the public. Okay. And so I just want to make sure that people understand that process. I think people should be encouraged to reach out to their council member. I was always available to hear from people, to meet with people. Happy to do it. And I think as a council member, I would love to have a quarterly update that gets sent to residents. And I think people should become a member of the Poway Chamber and of the GVCA if they want to know what's going on in the community.
Thank you. All right. And we will keep you up, Anita, for closing statements. I apologize. We ran out of any extra time we had. Perhaps this can, the question, I'll just give it to you. You won't be able to answer it, but was to talk about water rates. So I know that's been an issue in the past and people promising they could lower water rates, which obviously is not possible. So I apologize and thank the person who submitted that in the chat. And we will at this time, to stay on track, because we do have a hard stop at 6:30, go to closing statements. As mentioned before, in reverse order of opening statements. Anita, you will go first. You have 3 minutes for your closing statement now. And I will remind you, if you did want to invite, the people who are attending tonight and people who may watch this recording in the future, how to contact you, how would you would like to engage with people who may have questions about your party affiliation or other things. If you so wish, you can include how they can reach out to you. So your 3 minutes for a closing statement starts now, Anita.
Okay, thank you. So thank you to the chamber and Mike for leading this, and for everyone that, if you're still with us, thank you for staying through the whole event here. So this race isn't about me. It's about the 12,000 residents of District 2. And it comes down to one question: who is ready to serve effectively on day one? So when I hear talk about bringing a new voice to council, I would like to remind voters that before the recall, 3 of the 5 council members were new. So we've had new, right? And we saw what happened with the last new one. So, we can't afford another year of on-the-job training. We've got important issues coming up. It takes about a year to get your sea legs on council. And so, over the past month, I put a lot of miles on my shoes, meeting residents around the district. And that message has been consistent. People want experience, they want stability, and they want sound judgment. And they want someone who can walk in, sit down, and get to work. No learning curve, no rookie mistakes, no surprises. And that is exactly what I offer. And there's only one candidate in this race that checks every important box: a trusted leader with deep roots in key community organizations, real council experience, a proven independent voice that answers to residents, not agendas, the only candidate without a conflict of interest on the rec club at the farm, and the only candidate endorsed by both the Poway Firefighters Association and the Deputy Sheriff's Association, men and women who keep our community safe. In 2024, voters took a chance on an unproven candidate, and the stakes are too high to make that same gamble again. So I would say some of what you heard tonight, many ideas sound good, but they could be costly. They could expand government. And I'm not looking for either one of those things. And I don't think the residents are either. So the District 2 doesn't need a new voice. We need the right one. And I'm ready. I am proven. And I would be deeply honored to earn District 2 voters' vote and their trust. And you can visit my website at anitapoway.com, to learn more and to provide your support. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Anita. Vanessa, your closing statement, please. And you have 3 minutes starting now.
Yeah. I'd like to take 2 seconds just to address Anita's mention of 72 versus 7-day notice. It's true that most cities only or only require 72-hour notice, but that's because other cities have planning committees that inform the residents about what's coming. So these aren't big surprises to the residents. So that's a difference. So that's why we need a longer notification period. Secondly, I will agree that you are more experienced because you were appointed by council when you were appointed by council. And so I don't discount that you have more knowledge, but I can assure you, anybody who has worked with me, whether it's volunteering or on the HOA or with the GVCA, I show up and I perform and I work well with others to form a consensus. I work with respect and I work towards common sense solutions. So I definitely have that. And for anybody to question that I am not someone who's ready to take on the job and work right away and to learn very quickly, I am ready to do so. So I just want to say that I've spent years advocating for residents, whether it was pushing for a stop sign in my neighborhood or standing up against the lifetime at the farm or supporting traffic improvements throughout Poway. I've spoken at council meetings, I've worked with local media, and I've had countless conversations with neighbors about issues that matter most. And public safety and traffic and infrastructure will always be top priorities, I agree, but we must also plan more thoughtfully and responsibly when it comes to development. My number one priority will always be protecting residents' quality of life. I remain committed to advocating for community-approved plans for the farm, sensible improvements to the Poway Road specific plan, greater transparency in decision-making, and protection of open spaces. Meaningful traffic and fire safety solutions and reasonable term limits, all while remaining a positive, nonpartisan, independent voice focused on residents. I do believe good leadership starts with listening, learning, and bringing people together. I do not support approving increased density in developments when it hurts the character of existing neighborhoods. And I am the only true nonpartisan, truly independent candidate running for this race. My opponent claims to be independent on all of her marketing material, but voted with mayor and council on 99% of the votes and 99% out of 250 votes that she took on council. So I'm not quite sure where that lays, and you can talk to her. But I am deeply committed to this community, and I'm ready to step up and work with existing council to make the changes that are needed to protect our city. Thank you very much. Oh, please reach out to my website at vanessaforpoway.com for information.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you very much to both candidates. We really appreciate that. I am Mike, CEO again of the Poway Chamber of Commerce. I can be reached at mike@poway.com. Thank you all for attending and the participation tonight. Thank you again to the candidates. Get out and vote. That's the one thing we will say politically. Get out and vote. Make your voice heard. Thank you very much, and good night now.
Good night. Thank you.